Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good day to all. My name is Muhammad Amirul Hadi bin Ma'ali.
Hi, I am Fatin binti Mohd.
Hi, my name is Nurul Aida Binti Azhar.
Hi everyone, welcome to the class. Today's agenda, we are going to learn about introduction of isomers, what is isomers, basic structure of isomers, isomers of pentane, and isomers of pentene. So, let's go! Some molecules of organic compounds have many ways to join the atoms together. This phenomenon is called isomerism. Isomerism is an existence or possibilities of isomers. Now, let's have a look into what is an isomer. Do you guys know what is an isomer? Isomers are molecules that have the same molecular formula but different structure. Isomers do not necessarily share similar chemical or physical properties. Therefore, isomers contain the same number of atoms for each element, but the atomic arrangement is differs. Despite having the same molecular formula, the physical properties of each molecule may differ, particularly if the functional group associated with each molecule are different. Isomerization is the process by which one molecule is converted into another molecule with the identical atom. This may occur spontaneously, or a reaction may be required to achieve this effect.
Now I'm going to tell about basic structure of isomers. There are two ways of carbon atoms in a molecule are joined. Those ways are straight chain and branch chain.
Now, let me tell you about straight chain. The molecules of straight chain carbon atoms connected one after the other with a appropriate number of hydrogen atoms on each carbon. They join together in a row to produce the longest molecule it could be.
Alright, next we have branch chain. For branch chain, we have an example of 2-methylhexane. The longest chain of carbon is 6. They are joined in a straight line, but they have one branch containing one carbon atom connected to the C2. For other cases, there are one or more carbon atoms that will become the side chains of the molecule. Side chain are usually comes from alkyl group with the name of methyl, ethyl, and propyl. The general formula used for alkyl group is CnH2n plus 2, whereas N indicates the number of carbon atoms. Now, let's have a look into isomers of pentane. Introduction of pentane. Pentane is an organic compound with 5 carbon and 12 hydrogen atoms. Pentane is from alkene group with the formula of CnH2n plus 2. Thus, it explains the numbers of carbon and hydrogen atoms in their structural formula. There are only single bonds connected all the carbon inside the pentane. For alkene group, the nomenclature of the compound will end with ANE. Pentane has 3 structural isomers.
The first structural isomer is pen-1N or pentane. This structural isomer is called pentane. The longest chain of carbon atoms for this structure is 5, thus explain the pent. These structural isomers come with straight chains. There are 5 carbon and 12 hydrogen in this structure. All carbon atoms are connected with single bonds that explain the N. Next, we have 2-methylbut1N or 2-methylbutane. These structural isomers called 2-methyl-but-1-ene or 2-methyl-butane. It comes with one branch chain. The branch chain only contains one carbon atom and it is connected to the C2 that explains the 2-methyl. The longest chain of carbon atoms for these structural isomers is 4, thus explain the but. In this structural, all carbon atoms are connected with single bonds. The third structural isomers is 2,2-dimethylpropane or 2,2-dimethylprop-1-ene. This structural isomers called 2,2-dimethylpropane or 2,2-dimethylprop-1-ene. It comes with branch chains. There are 2 branch chains in these structural isomers and contain only one carbon atom each. The branch chains are connected to the C2, thus explain the 2,2-dimethyl. The longest chain of carbon atoms for this structural isomer is 3 carbon atoms. That explains the prop. The longest chain can be counted vertically or horizontally in this structural isomer. In this structural isomer, all carbon atoms are connected with single bond and explain the ene.
Now, let me tell you about isomers for Pantane. Pantane is an organic compound with 5 carbon and 10 hydrogen atoms. Pantane is from alkene group with the formula CnH2n. Thus, it explains the numbers of carbon and hydrogen atoms in the structural formula. There is one double bond in the structural formula and the other are single bond connected the carbon atoms in Pantane. For alkene groups, the nomenclature of the compound will end with "ane". Pantane has 5 structural isomers. Now, let's see for the first isomers. The first isomers is called Pant1-ene or Pantane. The longest chain of carbon atoms for this structure is 5, thus explain the pant. These structural isomers come with straight chain. There are 5 carbon and 10 hydrogen atoms in the structural isomers. There are also a double bond between C1 and C2, which explain the 1 and "ene". The others are single bonds that connected all the remaining carbon atoms. Now, the second isomers is called Pant2-ene. The longest chain of carbon atoms for the structure is 5. Thus explain the pant. These structural isomers come with straight chain. There are 5 carbon and 10 hydrogen atoms in the structural isomers. There are also a double bond between C2 and C3, which explain the 2 and "ene". The others are single bonds that connected all the remaining carbon atoms. Now, let me tell you about the third isomers that we called 2-methyl-but-1-ene, 2-methylbutane. The longest chain of carbon atoms for the structure is 4, thus explain the but. These structural isomers comes with straight chain and one branch chain containing 1 carbon atoms connected to the C2. Hence explain the 2 and methyl. There are 5 carbon and 10 hydrogen atoms in the structural isomers. There are also a double bond between C1 and C2, which explain the 1 and "ene". The others are single bonds that connected all the remaining carbon atoms.
Alright, the next isomers for Pantene is called as 3-methyl-but-1-ene or 3-methylbutene. The longest chain of carbon for the structural isomers is 4, thus explain the but. These structural isomers come with straight chain and one branch of chain containing one carbon atoms that are connected to the C3. Hence, explain the name 3- and methyl. There are 5 carbons and 10 hydrogen atoms in these structural isomers. There are also a double bond between C1 and C2, which explain the 1 and the in. The others are single bonds that are connected all the remaining carbon atoms. The last isomers for pentene is 2-methyl-but-2-ene or 2-methyl-butene. For these structural isomers, the longest chain of carbon atom for this structure is 4, thus explaining the but. These structural isomers come with straight chain and one branch chain containing 1 carbon atoms connected to the C2. Hence, explain the 2 and the methyl. There are 5 carbon and 10 hydrogen in the structural isomers. There are also a double bond between C2 and C3, which explain the 2 and the in. The others are single bonds that connected all the remaining carbon atom. And we're done for today.
Now, we already at the last part, which is summary. That conclude all the isomers for pentane and pentene. We hope our video helps you understand better about the concept of isomers and all the isomers for pentane and pentene. Till next time guys, thank you for lending us your ears. Stay safe and take care. Bye bye.